Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration on the Mantis Shrimp. There's multiple colors, but this one I'm going to do mainly in green. So I'm going to do a light wash, and I'll zoom in a minute, in this body section here. So what I'm doing now is just laying in a foundation. Nothing too drastic. And I'll zoom in just a minute here. Now I'm going to come in and switch brushes. I do know that I'm going to have some highlights in the center. And I'm going to have some highlights at the top. So I'm going to pull the color out. I'm working all over. I know that the eyes are going to be a more brighter green. So I'm going to come in with a... Now that will have multiple layers. I also know that there's going to be some dots of color. That's going to be in here. Now this is just foundational. The detail will get more intense. I'm going to zoom in now. I also know that there's going to be hints of red. Now this is going to be just a light wash. I know there's going to be some red in here. I know there's going to be some red in here. I definitely know there's going to be quite a bit of red on the bottom and on the legs. But this is all building up to eventually what it's going to look like. Now, what I'm going to probably do is just work on one little section here where I'm going to using my 20 cups of coffee method. And you can see I'm just slowly building it up, not going very dark. Now I know down here towards the bottom will be darker. And this is where the blending takes place. And I'm going to stop right there. And okay, so I'm just going to come in a little bit on this other mantis. It's still like maybe 60–70%. Still need to blend in a lot of different things. I'm going to do a small little demo. Here's a snail that's met its doom. Here is part of the other mantis. I'm going to do a little demonstration on what happened right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and almost outline what's happening here. Blending when I can. Just so you understand the process. And this is just the front layer. It will have layers in the back. Doubling. Pulling out the highlights. Slowly. Blending the green into the red, which will give the effect of casting a shadow. Now, the green and the red are complementary colors, which is on the opposite end of the color spectrum. So a lot of times I'll use them together. Sometimes when they're against each other, they make the colors more intense. Now, what you're looking at it is from maybe even 2 inches away. So you would never really see what's happening here. But I like kind of coming in close so you can see what's happening. Still keeping it loose. And then slowly bringing in the detail, like this one right here. Sometimes I'll need to go in there and pull out a little bit of a highlight. Get my point across. Blend some. Now this is definitely going to be a part 1 and part 2. This is going to have a lot of extreme detail. So I'm just kind of showing you little sections of the detail so you understand that it will be built up slowly. This is going to probably be one that's going to be very difficult to duplicate. But the techniques are still there. What I've done here is what I'm going to use on the bottom here. What I did here is what I'm going to do on these other sections. This right here, you can see right here on the detail on the back is building up slowly. So that's just the process. I'll be blending things in and out. Take care. Okay, so I'm going to do a little sweep. I'm going to come in right into this mantis. Now, definitely not even close to being finished. Background coral's not. This one's definitely not done. Now, change the direction on the snail. So I'm going to still work on this and need more work. But instead of it looking towards the middle one, it's looking at the two sides, which may have prompted myself to think of a new name for this is Cover Your Six, because he's getting attacked from behind. But I still like the unholy trinity. So I'm going to do a little scan. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now these still need a lot more work and more of the background, but you can see how I start the foundation for coral. This one I'm pretty happy with so far. I would say it's about 90%. I'm going to pause and then do a demonstration. Now, I love nature. Always have. Even when I was a small child, that is one of my loves. Well, maybe I'll back it up a little bit. Okay, that's probably better. You can see more. So I'm going to do a little demonstration on the seaweed. And I did this for another painting project, so I'm just reviewing what I'm doing. So I'm just coming in. When I was a teacher, I loved teaching my students not only about art, but science, biology, history, math, and art, of course. Now what I'm doing is just laying down the foundation. Some of these have not been worked on at all, so I'm doing the leaf part now, and it's just that random scribbling, and it's about layers. So the more I work this, the more layers will show up. I'm sure you can see downstairs where this is, and the colors I enhanced from the last time you probably saw it, and that's due to layers. It starts off kind of light, like I'm doing this seaweed right now, and it'll fade. And then I'll come back and add the detail and layers and make it darker, like you can see over here. Or this is where it would be right now as soon as I finish, and then it would come into this, and then I'll do the small details. But it's just the way I paint. And it's what makes sense to me. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like the way I paint, and it's obvious because I don't have very many people looking at my stuff. It could be algorithm. I may have started doing demonstrations way too late. So people have a lot of, I guess, followers. I have like less than, about 100. So not too many people see my work. And the people that have hundreds and thousands and whatever followers, they dominate the YouTube because it's a money thing, and I understand that. So YouTube makes more money when they're using a person that has 150,000 views in 2 days. I may get 40 or 50. Well, when I first started a year ago, I got 40 or 50 for the whole year. My numbers have increased a little bit. Back then, when I first started, I had like 5 or 10 subscribers, and I always never wanted to kind of beg for that, because that's not me. I still want to show a lot of people, and that would be nice, and if it does happen someday, that's nice too. But I'm not going to press the fact. I'm hoping some people will see my work and get some kind of value out of it and share it with their friends, and maybe that's one way of my work getting out there, because I still want to share and teach these techniques of watercolor, which makes sense to me. And maybe people just don't want to do detail. They like that fast finish of painting in 15 minutes, and that's fine. I'm trying to show and work for the people that ever considered wanting to do something detailed. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull the color out, so to get the highlight. Sometimes it's easier when it's still wet. Now because this is black, it's more of a stain, so it's very difficult to pull color out. It's not like regular watercolors. There's a few colors that pulling out the color is almost impossible because it's more of a stain. A lot of the blues, like maybe some of the blues right in here, that does not pull up very easy. Again, this is going to be in 2 parts. And I can't, because these are so detailed, but I'm doing the technique, so if I do a section here, it's the same section I would do for all these. Or if I do a leg, I don't have to show all the legs. I could show one leg, and I'm assuming that you can understand with that and just keep on doing that technique. And I showed this technique on the octopus that I just recently did. There's all kind of ways to do coral. I'm not saying my way is, and I have a lot of techniques to do coral. Make them look super realistic using reference of coral. But sometimes I just like being free because there is so many different type corals. It's hard to see detail in the coral from a distance. So that's why I'm doing these. Now I'll kind of zoom in a little bit. I may have mentioned it before. So I wanted to always work at the museum, even when I was a little kid, going to the museum on a field trip. At that point, I really wasn't even thinking I could be an artist at the museum. I was thinking more of maybe I could work cleaning the floors just so I could be there. And that's fun. So I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. And I'm always getting better. And please, when you're trying to do this, I may make it look easy. It's not easy. I just make it look easy because I've been doing this for 60 years. And every year I get a little bit better, or every month, or the techniques change a little bit, but it's just the way things work. So please don't be discouraged. You'll see growth if you keep some of those things that the things that didn't work out, so that you learn from them. Teaching was a really rewarding job, especially when I was in the middle school. That's when I saw the biggest changes. I saw 6th graders go from a level 2 to like a level 8, sometimes within a month, or because they took my class several times, I took them to new levels, even college level. So that's just one of those things. Anyway, so just kind of giving you a little heads up of what I was doing. Now, like I said, everything is about blending. Even though this is something I really like so far, this is way too hard lined. And I'll just probably blend it out. Sometimes it's just subtle washes that push it over the top. I think I'm getting too far. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. Hello, I'm Steve Melendres, a model maker, illustrator, scientific illustrator, sculptor, design Natural History Museum in Los Angeles. Done a lot of different things, but I'm going to be doing watercolor demonstrations of the techniques I've developed over the years. And it's going to go from a lot of different directions. And also I'm going to be doing videos, I call them video posters for my daughter. So a lot of stuff that I can leave to my daughter about her crazy dad. So I'm taking a lot of different directions, but mainly three. So anyway, that's my introduction that I'm going to attach to everything I'm doing now, so I don't have to repeat this. Be careful out there.